Welcome back to the FanSpeak Network and another episode of Sibling Showdown, our live draft edition, a big board live draft edition. We'll be drafting our third, count with me, our third big board in just 1 minute. That's right. Each week we'll be drafting a big board together from now until, of course, the NFL draft. And then, of course, after that, we'll be doing plenty of other best ball contests every single week. But Steve, he's, of course, my sibling. Steve, how are you doing today? And are you looking forward to ripping another sibling showdown again?
Doing good. Yeah, it's nice, NFL with the NFL season over, we will hopefully not have any people drafting Chiefs Eagles in the first 6 rounds.
Yeah, that's true.
But and also it is good to know. I mean, look, not that we rooted for it and we did get through it, but we were drafting and a player could have gotten injured, and we saw it was a defense player, but in last year's Super Bowl, Dre Greenlaw, and it's just like he's done,
Yeah.
So it's good to get through that.
Yeah.
So it's exciting now.
Yeah, no, I always get so sad. I mean, the Monday after Super Bowl is just like violence and just it's tears for me. I absolutely hate after a Super Bowl. I get so sad and depressed. This helps me cope. We've been back in the big board streets, but we're officially back in. It is officially now best ball season for sure. So we've got tons of best ball content for you. Basically all winter, spring, summer, starting now through Labor Day for covering best ball. So, we'll have multiple live drafts each week. Steve and I, Andrew and Justin, Tyler and Spread will start soon, and hopefully some others on the channel. I'll probably do some, bring Friends of Best Ball back eventually and all that. So we'll have tons of live drafts, but we'll also have great strategy shows too. Steve and I have taped multiple rookie shows. We previewed quarterbacks and tight ends. We previewed running backs. Check that out. That's on the channel. And we're previewing wide receivers tonight, and that'll be on the channel by tomorrow. So check that out. Steve and I will do strategy shows each week. Andrew and Justin will be doing strategy shows. So we'll have a ton of that. And then we have a ton of content on fanspeak.com. Later this spring, we will have a best ball subscription. But right now, everything's free. Steve and I are working on tweaking his rankings, and we'll have that up by next week, hopefully. So a lot of fun stuff coming. Be sure to just stay tuned to FanSpeak Network. Make sure, of course, you're subscribed and have notifications on for FanSpeak Network. Our next goal is 500 subscribers. Once we do that, we'll do a massive giveaway. So help us get there. We're at, I believe, 450 now and counting. So with all that said, first of all, I gotta say hi to the folks in chat. Always love seeing them. Darkside Dev, LFG, love it. DQ, who won our we gave a giveaway to celebrate your big board, 50K big board win, 4th place. Steve hit in the big board. That's why this is so key talking about big board now. We did a giveaway to celebrate, and DQ won that. So great to see you in the chat as well. So Steve, before we get into the live draft, and we will in just a few minutes, I promise. But, I've seen interesting conversations on Twitter about how many rookies, and then, that's what's the interesting thing about, best ball, but big board too, is there's so many different ways to win, and you can win in multiple ways. There's not like one script, one strategy. There's so many different ways to win. And I shared on a thread today, your 4th place team, which was awesome. It had, I believe, 3 rookies. Ladd McConkey was obviously your hero late in the season and week 17. But the guy that won, who you easily could have edged out if that last touchdown would have been to Amon-Ra instead of Gibbs, or if McLaurin would have had Zacchaeus' day, you easily could have been that first place too. But the guy that got first place had 10 rookies. There's no magic number. And that's the thing. And I'm sure there were guys in the top 10 or folks in the top 10, top 20 that didn't have any rookies or one rookie. That's the point, is there's not a magic number for this. But I wouldn't go into these drafts that I'm not going to draft any rookies, or I'm going to draft 10 rookies and run, exactly back what they did. I would just basically be open to rookies and try to obviously hit them in the right pockets. And I'm personally leaning in to the positions. Last year, the guy that won, who had 10 rookies on his team, had 4 wide receivers, which wide receiver rookie class was insane last year. Insanely talented, top to and depth class. And he hit on 4 rookie receivers that filled out his week 17 lineup. This year, I think that the strength of the class is running back and tight end a little bit. So talk about that a little bit. And are you leaning into running back and tight end from the standpoint of rookies more?
Yeah. So one, I think you're exactly right. That's like the best way to play it. and you take rookies where they're valuable, because he also had, I believe, Jaden Daniels at quarterback, Brock Bowers at tight end. So he took the stud rookies at the other positions also.
Yeah, so awesome quarterback class, rookie quarterback class, and then he hit on Brock Bowers, who was
just recognizing Bowers is kind of a unique one of one. When we see a similar guy this year in Tyler Warren, but a guy who, very few tight ends get drafted that early, and taking advantage of that, because. And we'll talk about Tyler Warren, I think, in a second, but it's Brock Bowers. He just wasn't being drafted high enough for what his potential was. He ended up tight end 1 on the year. Jaden Daniels, kind of similar thing. He was drafted, maybe as QB 12, 13.
I was going to say 11, 12. Okay.
Range, and he ended up QB 5. So you're just getting massive value, ROI. Some rookies are going to go high. We saw last year with like Marvin Harrison Jr., Malik Neighbors. This year it's Ashton Genty. He's an early second round pick. He still can be payoff, be absolutely worth it, and I'm still taking him. But it's the guys who are a little later, maybe in terms of this year, the rookie running backs, the Hampton, the Caleb Johnson, Scadaboo, the Ohio State guys, Samson, Neal, etc. They're going 50s, 60s, 70s. Scadaboo down to Scadaboo, Neal in the early, 120s. If they do hit, they're going to massively outperform those ADPs. And even a guy like Hampton, he's going 53. He has a chance. He legitimately has a chance to be a top 10 running back if he gets the right landing spot. The talent is 100% there. I think he's going as RB 18 right now, something along those lines. So, he could be RB 8 on the year, something like that. So, that's where you can hit value in rookie. Are you going to get on all of them? No, guy.
He didn't either. The guy that had 10, he didn't hit on all of them. He had who was the last one for the 49ers that didn't even play?
Browning.
Yeah, exactly. But he had Pearsall who went off, so.
Exactly. And he also had running backs like Ray Davis and who just had 2-3 usable weeks on the year. One really good one, but not much.
Yeah. You're not going to hit on all. You're not going to hit on all of them, no matter what. I mean, I think you only drafted 3 or 4, and it's not like all of them hit for you either necessarily. Yeah. You're not going to hit all of them, no matter how many you draft. But I don't think it should be like not drafting rookies. This actually is the time before the combine. We only have 2 weeks till the combine, less than 2 weeks till the combine, and then pro days and all those kind of things before in this big board window is the time where we might be able to get some massive discounts. We might still be able to get discounts on rookies in, the main draft season after we know landing spots. But now, you have to be, not risk adverse to, you're taking a risk because you don't know the landing spots. If these top running backs or Tyler Warren or some of the other tight ends you might mention get bad landing spots, it might not work out. But look, Brock Bowers, he got like one of the worst landing spots.
Terrible landing spot. With tight end 1. So, it does go to show. And it's also the other advantage now is, especially some of these later rookies, some of the later running backs, later receivers, and even a few of the later tight ends, they're not going to be 100% drafted, particularly now before the combine and stuff like that.
Yeah.
If somebody who
that's a great point.
Steamed up after the combine, 40% or whatever.
Give an example of a couple of guys, either running back, tight end, receiver, doesn't matter. That could be not like you said, sub 40% owned, no matter what they do in the combine, but surely could make a difference and be an impact player.
Well, I mean, 3 of the tight ends we talked about in our tight end show, Helm, Arroyo, who did have a good Senior Bowl, and Gadsden the second. Like, if they have really strong combines, they will start to be drafted in every draft. And, I think those are examples. I think running backs, we have some guys like Taj Brooks, Tootin, the Virginia Tech guy, handful of others who, depending on how you view these guys, I mean, they're definitely not being 100% drafted right now. The both Michigan guys, Edwards and Mullins, right now, neither are, look like a lock, but who knows? Not only the combine, but maybe Jim Harbaugh comes calling and they have a pretty good landing spot as well. So, look, you're taking risks by drafting them now early, but it could pay off in a big time. Like, I'm going to guess that and particularly before the combine, I'm going to guess somebody like McMillan was not 100% drafted.
Right.
Tyrone Tracy definitely wasn't 100% drafted.
Right.
Bucky Irving probably, but you were probably getting him in like 19th, 20th round,
right.
Before the draft, et cetera.
Yeah.
So,
the not 100% drafted is an excellent point. We talk about this in the draft season, and like when you do those time box tournaments, you can take shots. My big thing was drafting Darnold, and damn it, it didn't get through to the finals in any of my time box tournaments, but certainly advanced. And that's fun when you can get like a lower owned guy in a time box tournament, or this is a time box tournament. This will be over by the NFL draft, and so like that's an excellent point, that there are going to be some of these late round rookies that will be drafted pretty low. And that's just an interesting, don't take like 5 of them, but like if you take like 1 or 2 of shots in the 19th, 20th round, it could be interesting. Let's say hi to a couple guys in chat. Then you want to make a couple other points about tight ends. And then we will promise we were already getting a draft. I already said hi to Darkside Dev, DQ, our guy, King of Kings. Always good to see you. Hopefully you'll be able to draft with us. Always good to see our guy, Tim. Steve got his Washington shirt on. He said Daniels just keeps getting better and better. And then Mike Robb always has some good one-liners. He's given me the props today, Steve. He said, hair games in favor of Meg tonight. I see you're going for the boy band hair, Steve. Steve, what's going on? You didn't have the slick back look as much today?
Not today, yeah.
I had the lazy hair up in a clip look, but thank you for saying my hair game's strong, Mike Robb. I appreciate that. I will take it. Steve, before we get into a live draft, and yes, that is what we're going to do next. I'm going to pull over the underdog rankings. You mentioned how... Oops, I forgot to share the screen. You mentioned how this year with some rookie tight ends and with just tight ends that are in the late rounds, you actually like a little bit late round tight end build. Elaborate on that before.
Yeah, even more so. Would you mind zooming in a little bit?
Sure. Yeah.
So, look, it's definitely paid off both the last 2 years, kind of this mid to late round tight end. And that's the perfect place to look to start with Njoku, ADP 100 plus.
Yeah.
Njoku, Warren, Goddard. We just saw Goddard. It's not going to be every week, but he's on one of the best offenses in the league. Tucker Kraft, he's fending off, and Kincaid a little bit as well. They're fending off some competition, but those are top offenses. Tyler Warren, as I mentioned, he very much could be on the Brock Bowers plan of being tight end 10, 11 drafted, and tight end 1 at the end of the year.
Right.
That's well within his wheelhouse. But if you scroll down a little bit, what I really like is going below this, because we got guys like, Jake Ferguson. You're taking a massive discount. I understand Spoonmaker had some value down the stretch. Likely still might not be drafted high enough. I mean, he's heavily involved in this Ravens offense, again, an elite offense. Another rookie tight end, Colson Loveland. He could even end up with a better landing spot than Tyler Warren. Not as overly.
He's the Michigan tight end, right? Yeah.
Michigan tight end. Look, it could be an AFC West battle between Denver and Chargers to try and get him at the end of the first round. Kate Otten, another great offense. Pat Freiermuth, look, Steelers offense isn't great, but if you look at his numbers last year, he had 600 plus yards, 6-7 touchdowns. I mean, that's the numbers of beyond tight ends well above him, and he's going to be a focal point of that offense. Same with Hunter Henry. Now with Drake.
Are you worried about? I that's the one that worries me a little. How many years more is his contract? And I have to think they might be looking tight end in the draft.
So what I will say, they very well could be looking at tight end in the draft, though I don't think it's going to be in the first round. So I don't think you're worried about that. But the thing to remember with Hunter Henry, 3 years ago, with the Patriots, Josh McDaniels, offensive coordinator, Hunter Henry had his best year, 9 touchdowns, 9 or 10 touchdowns.
Forgot about the Josh
McDaniels. 700 yards. And that was with Mac Jones as a rookie. Drake May, I think we all agree, not only is he in year 2, but he's considerably better than Mac Jones. And there's truly no other weapons there. That year, Jacoby Myers, I believe, was still on the Patriots. So I'm sure they'll add some weapons. But I just think Hunter Henry, once again, is in a prime position. Look, touchdown variance has been what's hurt him the last couple of years. I think we now have a situation where that could change. Zach Ertz, look, we saw what he did down the stretch. I'm a big fan of that.
I know you like Fannin Jr.
Fannin Jr. I think is another rookie who could shine. We got some guys like Schultz or Sanders who could be just undervalued right now. But the other interesting name going even lower that I think could be the absolute steal, Mike Gesicki.
Yep, I was going to say.
He heard Joe Burrow in Radio Row talking. Not only does he want T. Higgins back, he wants Mike Gesicki back.
Yeah,
this offense was functioning yes, there was some of that Gesicki versus Higgins, but down the stretch, it started to be both. And I think going forward, that's going to be the plan. So, I really think there's a lot of upside there. And, there's other athletic tight ends.
Chig finished strong with the Titans. He was on my Bulldog team, and he finished strong.
Juwan Johnson is a free agent. Who knows where he lands? But he's always, had some solid output. One guy to really watch is Brenton Strange from the Jags. If they move on from Evan Ingram, Strange had 400+ yards.
Yeah.
On just a terrible offense with Mac Jones. No offense to Mac Jones, he just keeps being brought up here.
Yeah.
Higbee, as Kings mentioned, look what he did when they felt he was fully healthy down the stretch. They really
in the playoffs,
in the postseason, and especially Cooper Kupp's gone, could be very interesting. So I just
then some of those rookies you mentioned too, like you talked about Helm, Mason Taylor, and then the really wild card was where is he at Gadsden Jr.
Yeah. So I just think I really like kind of starting essentially at the Njoku, Tyler Warren, grab one there, grab one kind of in that middle range around the Freiermuth, what I mentioned, then one of these late round guys. And I think you cobble together a really high upside tight end group.
Yeah, listen, you're not going to get pushback from me. I know that'll be a debate all summer, just like it's a debate every summer, how to allocate that. And like we say, for all types of builds, mix your portfolio, right? Do some where it's early tight ends, do maybe some 2 mid tight ends, do some late round tight ends, or maybe hit that middle one and then 2 late round tight ends, mix up the portfolio. We always advocate for that. But listen, what's worked for me best the last couple of seasons that I had success, my successful best ball finals, right? My BBM late round tight end build, my Bulldog this year, late round tight end build. And all 3 did awesome. It was Tyler Conklin, Chigakonkwo, and Zach Ertz, 2 counted. And Chig, I think, was around 10. And then it was like, Tyler Conklin
17 had and Ertz, I think 22.
22. Yeah. So it's like, man, I mean, it just totally worked out. Cause I know people say, well, the elite tight ends could totally lap the field. Well, yeah, I mean, Trey McBride still had a 25-point game or something that week. Great. But I had Zach Ertz and he was not even 100% drafted, getting 22. Yeah. So, you never know. Every year is going to give a different, playoff weeks for the at each position, right? Like what goes off in what weeks and that kind of stuff. So you do never know. And that's why you diversify the portfolio. But listen, I love being able to either start mid to late or late. I am a big advocate for that. And I think that just going through it with you here just showed where the pockets that you can hit.
Yeah. And just one other thing I'd mention on it is with those guys that I mentioned, almost all of them, and I mentioned Juwan Johnson kind of as throwaway at the end, outside the rookies, we know where they are. They're very seem unlikely to get cut, any of those guys. We don't necessarily know if any competition comes in, but we know where they are, where we're drafting plenty of guys at other positions, including, we don't know where some of these quarterbacks are going to land. We don't know where, the Chris Godwins and Keenan Allens and Aaron Jones, Najee Harrises are going to end up. They could be in great spots. They could be in terrible spots. So that's one thing. And look, I think you should have some uncertainty, some that's with rookies, some with some of these other, free agent situations. Sure. There's nothing wrong with some uncertainty in your build, but if we can get certainty at tight end, that means we can have more certainty or higher, at least higher upside rookies who, no matter where they land, some of the running backs I mentioned earlier, they're going to be probably starting. So it's a better way to help build out certainty, where if you're taking certainty at tight end, like elite tight ends, the McBrides, Bowers, Laportas, Kittles, you just have to lower in the draft. There's a lot of receivers, a lot of running backs, especially these number 2 running backs on teams. We have no idea if they end up as the number 2 running back on the team.
Oh yeah. I was talking about that on Twitter with our friend of the program, Tyler, was talking about on Twitter today too. And just kind of like the pockets of the running backs that make me a little queasy. Just to elaborate on your point, then I want to go to Mike Robb's comment, and I promise we are jumping in a draft. Talk about our successful finals teams. I mean, you had 16 finals teams this year, but I talked about my 2 finals team, that late round tight end build. You had 16 finals teams. I'm sure they had a wide array of different builds, probably a lot of mid to late, I'm guessing, because I know that's probably what you lean more towards. But your big board, 4th place in the big board last year, was definitely mid to late. It was Komet because you knew Caleb, you drafted Caleb Williams and you knew he was going to the Bears. And then you drafted, it was 2 really late ones in Jonnu Smith and Zach Ertz. I mean, Zach Ertz, that was another one. And I don't know if you remember if that was before he was signed by Washington or not. Do you remember?
I think it was after. I think it was just after he signed by Washington, and my thought was the Kingsbury connection.
Yep.
And regardless, I didn't know which rookie quarterback. It was, I figured Daniels or May, but I figured a rookie quarterback, a veteran tight end, could be his best friend. So
exactly, and it totally worked out. And talk about a low-owned guy. I'm guessing in big board, Zach Ertz was not near 100% drafted. So you had definitely the mid to late round tight end. Let's question from Mike Robb, and then we will get into a draft. He said, since it's so early and so much still unresolved, how do you both handle being diversified versus going all in on a few people you're super confident in at 100 plus ADP? Less knowledge could lead to an edge. Yeah, that's a great question. I'll answer a quick one first, and then probably want to listen to Steve more on this because, again, he and first of all, I just got to pump Steve's tires here. Like, he knows rookies. He's scouted rookies for well over a decade. He, used to scout down at the Senior Bowl for 9 years, and has done it for fanspeak.com for, well over a decade. So he knows rookies, and he's someone that I've leaned on rookies. He's why I got on Brian Thomas and Ladd and some of the rookies last year that I got on, and I'm definitely leaning on him. So that's why we're doing all these rookie shows before and after the draft. So to answer Mike's question, I am being a little bit heavier handed on the 100 plus ADP guys that I feel strongly about in big board than I probably will the 100 plus ADP guys in the regular draft season, just because I don't know, you tell me if this is wrong, but I just feel like, it could go massively one way or another, but at 100 plus ADP, it's not going to kill you. You're 20 rounds in the big board. We shared, your draft in the winning teams draft today. And what it showed is, again, there's a lot of ways to win and have success in best ball, but it also showed you don't have to hit everything, especially in big board 20 rounds, right? So I'm actually taking more risks where bigger stands. Like, I have like 50 plus for Cam Scatterboot right now. Like, I'm sure that'll come down a little. I have like 30, 40 plus Tyler Warren. Like, I'm sure these things will like come down a little bit, but I actually 100 plus ADP and more am going pretty heavy handed in big board, and that'll just be a stand I take, and leaning into, well, I'm betting on the talent, and I hope they have a good landing spot. So that was my long answer. What's your answer, Steve?
Yeah, and kind of similar, because here's the thing, and I kind
great question, Mike.
I kind of touched on this just now with the certainty aspect. The uncertain guys early, whether they're free agents like a Chris Godwin, or a lot of these rookies, we still know that they're very likely to have good to great landing spots or usage. The mid and later guys, we don't have that same consideration. And again, it's not just necessarily like free agents or rookies, but it's also particularly at running back position. But if somebody's drafting Kendre Miller or some of these other number 2 running backs, I just they could easily be replaced. And same with like receivers. Like, look, I'm taking some of like Jalen Tolbert late, but Cowboys seem adamant that they're going to draft a receiver early. Now, Tolbert could still be a number 3, but is he then splitting that role with Mingo and Turpin and all these other guys?
Yeah, that's a good point.
So there's very few guys so if there's a guy I'm more certain about, like say an Adam Thielen, look, I'm more certain on Adam Thielen. I mean, we've seen it every game he's healthy, essentially, with Bryce Young these last 2 years. He's been pretty good, I mean, few duds.
And there's not cut risk with him, right?
No. I mean, maybe they would trade him, but I doubt it. He says he's coming back. So there's a slight uncertainty, but there's way more certainty than some of these other guys. Yeah. Like, for an instance, and the guy who's moving up, and I'm taking him some, Jordan Whittington. Look, Cooper Kupp's probably gone. Whittington could step in, or they could go sign someone. Like they have a very young team. They could look for a veteran opposite Puka. Maybe they really like Chris Godwin. They kind of reset their cap a bit. Now that Aaron Donald and a few other guys are gone, and particularly if Kupp's gone. So I'm not saying that's a guarantee, but who knows? So I just don't want to go overweight on some of these guys, or maybe they look to draft somebody early. They don't feel as high on Whittington as the fantasy community does. So, I'm taking those guys, but I don't want to just massively go overweight. Now, the guys who roles feel more certain and better spots, I'm going to be higher on for sure.
Okay. So to answer Mike's question, you're not going to go overweight on necessarily on, so I guess contextualize that. Give me like a summary,
Yeah.
Summarize that, like, action item.
Yes, I'm the certainty. If I feel there's certainty in 100 plus ADP guys, I'm going to be more overweight, because I feel there's way more risk just right now. It's kind of the Wild West once you get past the first few rounds. So
so if you feel like there's certainty, whether it's a rookie that just you believe in the talent, or a vet that you believe you believe the certainty, you're leaning into that. You're going to be overweight more so than you may be in the regular best ball draft season, because again, 20 rounds and some of those kind of overweight stands could maybe pay off more here.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I think we both answered Mike's question. I think it was a really good question. That's why I wanted to spend time. And that's why I loved your answer, but I was like, okay, I want to know like the exact summary. And so the exact like action items that you're, doing with that information. So I like that. And Mike says amazing answers. My bad for pushing back the draft. We will finally get into the draft, but it was a great question. And I'm glad I talked it through with Steve. So if you guys want to join us in a draft, we're entering the big board. So I'm going to count it down from 5. If you want to join us, we are entering in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm clicking enter on my phone, and then I will bring it up on the computer here and see where we are at. Okay, big board starts shortly, so it is starting. Hopefully you guys were able to get in. Waiting for it to start now. I see King of Kings, so that's good. Let's see here. I'll adjust the screen in a minute. Let me just check out who all is in the draft. I believe Ferrucci was in with us last time. So we've got our guy King of Kings at the 5 spot. We are at the 9th spot, and I believe Ferrucci, I'm not sure if I pronounced it right, has been in with us before. But if you are in the draft with us, let us know, and let us know where you are at. So Steve, as I'm adjusting the screen from the 9th spot, who are some of your favorite targets?
So right now receivers are going in that area, and I think it's fair. I think you got guys like Nico, Brian Thomas Jr., Malik Neighbors, Amon-Ra are kind of all in that area. You can reach for a running back. A chain would probably be the one, but so I kind of like that range, because you typically can get a running back on the way back. No guarantees, but I've enjoyed that range so far.
Yeah, I like you said, I don't mind getting a receiver, and then if a running back falls back to you, going that direction. So I do like that as well. Okay, can we see you can see the whole screen, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, fair. Let us know if I'm pronouncing it right, but Ferrucci is in it with your dog. I like a good luck tall. He's in there at the 12 spot. Love it. So, okay. So let's see here. So it started Chase Gibbs at number 2 and Barkley. King of Kings is coming up here. And so 9th spot, who's your favorite receiver that you typically take?
If Nico's there, that would be my choice.
Yeah, I'm probably with you on that one. King of Kings goes Jefferson. Always love that. Best, Chase and Jefferson can't go wrong there. And then Puka. Okay, let's bring up the board here. If Liam's there, I always like, I think the Dallas stack could be kind of a bit undervalued this year. I don't know that he'll be here, but we have these 5 receivers. Neighbors just went. I'd say if Liam's there, I'd take Liam over. And by the way, my percentages are, I need to update. So Best Ball Overlay, who is our partner, use code FANSPEAK. So it did go Liam. So you talked about it. You want to go Nico over Monron and BTJ? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So as we're coming around the corner, but yes, Best Ball Overlay, who we love working with. We will use code FANSPEAK if you want to check them out. I need to make sure I'm updating all the plugins and everything. So I'm not sure if my percentages are correct or not. I do need to update that before our next live show. Also, before our next live show, we will have Steve's rankings up by the next live show, up on FANSPEAK by our next live show next week. Can't talk tonight. and we will have the rankings available, and we will be using his rankings by our next live show next week. So I'm guessing Brian Thomas will go. So then you've got this, obviously pool of running backs who I like all of them. So, I mean, one's going to fall to us. So honestly, I have no problem with any of these guys. How would you rank a Chain, Henry, Genty, McCaffrey?
As much as I love a Chain and Henry, I think you can make a case that McCaffrey should go above all of them, but I get it. The injuries are worrisome. So for this, I would probably lean Henry.
Okay. So you're just like, I know you love Genty, but, and am I pronouncing it right? It's Ashton Genty, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So for this, you say go Henry, but, and I was actually going to push for McCaffrey, because I think I've got him just maybe twice so far in these early drafts. But yeah, it's a risk, but these pre-draft ones are more of a risk. So obviously the earlier draft, it's more of a risk, but I kind of like getting McCaffrey because I feel like if we get more, obviously if you get any negative news, pump the brakes and, he's going to fall. If we get positive news, I think he could more solidly be going in round one and round one. So, so we started Nico, Derrick Henry. I like that a lot. Farachi at the turn did Brian Thomas Jr. a Chain, like that a lot. Frank is King of Kings. He's coming up here in a minute. Started Jefferson. Obviously love that. And with Jefferson, I'm not really forcing until we get definitive news on the quarterback situation. I think it's sounding like they're going to, Darnold will somehow move on however way it goes, and it'll be JJ McCarthy, but I haven't really forced a stack. Have you?
No, I haven't forced a stack because I think Jefferson's fine there, in that mid first, however way you want to order kind of those receivers. But I think that it's without question that, it's going to be a step down to McCarthy. So it's not I don't think the upside is as high. And as we saw last year, they were okay with having games where Jefferson, just wasn't as featured, and they went Jordan Addison or even Hawkinson in one or two games after he came back. So, look, if teams take away Jefferson, that team has other weapons that they're comfortable going other places. So you don't need to overly go stacking when you Jefferson, and you just have to trust that Jefferson's Jefferson and elite enough to justify the position. But I don't know if he brings along McCarthy. So yeah, right now
I'm not forcing it now. When we get more information, then I'll do stuff.
Yeah, but, I mean, after the draft, I see myself stacking it a bit more, but it's never going to be a priority stack. Jefferson's going to be a first round pick whenever I take him, but I'm never going to be oh, I have to get JJ McCarthy. I just don't know if he's going to, if he ends up as QB 20, or is it really going to pay off for you? That's kind of my thought on it.
Yeah, gotcha. All right. Mike Robb asked if we're doing Herzig's contest. Actually, no, just because Steve and I are actually probably going to lean a lot more into good advance rate contest. And again, no judgment for people that like maxing BBM, go for it. Just like draft styles and player takes, everything is personal decision. As far as contest selection, no judgment if you want to go heavier into the BBM streets. I'm actually going to pull back from the BBM streets more than last year. I was so happy that I did made a big stand, and I was an advanced rate snob and did more of the good advanced rate contest. I'm going to do that even more this year. So less BBM, more good advanced rate contest, and then what I need to make up for it in there as far as volume will probably be marathon. I did fairly well 2 years ago on drafters as far as, a fairly high finish. I can't remember exactly where now. And then I was in the top 150. I can't remember the exact number. Won almost 1,000. I think it was 900 in the marathon this year. And, so that provides, without having to do that pod, the pod luck and all that kind of stuff. Kind of like the marathon. Obviously, you need the team to stay healthy. But, it's still obviously we're doing these flagship contests pre-draft. Marathon is a flagship contest. Steve had a lot of luck or a lot of success in the Eliminator. I mean, Eliminator, you made the finals, and then, you started getting pretty nice payouts with the Eliminator after what week, Steve?
I can't remember what week the payouts start. Maybe week 7. You start.
But then they start getting pretty decent after.
Yeah, it keeps building up, and
yeah,
for a $10 tournament to make the finals, you got 500 back. So it was a nice payoff. And since I only did 22, I was well to the good. And then I even was higher in the finals. So, so yeah, it is these tournaments, marathon, eliminator, I think they're fun contests. And
it's another way to diversify your portfolio too.
Yeah.
I might lean into certain players more in a marathon and eliminator that I wouldn't in like the classic contest, so
we're up, by the way.
Oh shit. Sorry. Oh my God. Oh boy. Oh boy. That went bad. Okay. JSN, Chase Brown, Hertz, Cook, Kyron, 11 seconds.
Let's do.
I don't have any JSN.
Yeah,
do you?
Let's do JSN.
Okay. I don't. Oh my God. Thank God you were paying attention. Oh my gosh. That was. I really got into that question. I mean, okay, so let's catch up now, and then I'll go back to that. So we start Nico, Derrick Henry, JSN. We'll be back up at 40. Farachi's about to come up. And King Kings, he started Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, and then got Josh Jacobs in the third, like that a lot. So at 40, Steve, who are you eyeing up here? Jalen Hurts is the only. I look back at our drafts. We did one with like an elite quarterback with Lamar. We did one where we kind of waited to start in that like Herbert range. So, I'm fine with it, whichever direction you want to go. It's not like our anything's pushing me to like a certain stack yet. I don't know. So where do you want to go here at 40? Jalen Hurts is off the board. We have Chase Brown worries me. I know you really like James Cook. I like him. I've taken him a good bit, though he is falling. And then James Cook, Kyron, kind of, I don't know why they make me nervous. I would have said Mike Evans.
I really like James Cook. I think he is, and in fact, there were reports out of Buffalo that they believe he's the focal point of their offense. So.
All right. All right. So you don't worry if touchdown regression. He's queued up, by the way. You don't worry that if touchdown regression comes back a little, because he had massive touchdowns this year. Buffalo is just annoying that they always seem to mix in so many mouths to feed. Even at the running back position, they were mixing in guys. So that doesn't worry you at all. That if the touchdown regression.
The thing is, now I know Allen took more rushing touchdowns, but than like Lamar did. But it's very similar to Derrick Henry. Justice Hill had plenty of work. It's just there's a lot to go around.
But Derrick Henry had a crap load more yards than.
Yeah, and again, some of that James Cook missed a game and a half. So actually 2 games if you count.
I mean, I guess he was decently involved in the passing game. What was his total? I was just going to go to Fantasy Pros to see where he finished up. I need to scold myself on take what would I do 2024 stats. Sometimes I get take lock with guys that, I wasn't in on them. And so then even after a good season, I'm not in on them, or I was in on them. And even after a bad season, I'm trying to still make it happen. I do get a little take lock sometimes, and that's something I need to work on, admittedly. Mike Robb says advanced rate snob would be a great Twitter bio entry. Yeah, I think I might need to consider that. No, I mean, making the Bulldog finals, I was every contest that had a 1 of 6, 2 of 10, 2 of 8 situation. And, once you got past your pod, out of your pod, I was obsessively all about, and I'm going to be even more so this year. And then, we're going to mix up our shows, as the classic contests come in after the draft, that we'll do, instead of doing all BBMs, I think it's good for the kind of the best ball space is to not just, there's something outside of BBMs, playing, you and I have both played DFS for, 11 years or something like that, Steve. And guys like Adam Levitan and people in the space that, didn't just push the Millie Maker and explain that, establishing run was good about showing all the, where Justin Herzig's from, was very good at there's contests for everybody, whether you want to do cash or Millie Makers or small fields or that kind of stuff. And same thing, I think, goes for best ball. It doesn't, I think initially everybody's just talking about BBMs, live drafting BBMs, but I think it's good to, live draft some of these other cool contests like Marathon, like Eliminator, that you might use different strategies or lean into different player takes. And outside of that, so we're going to definitely do Eliminator, Marathon, probably, some weekly winners. I know you all did that last year, mix in that kind of stuff too, but then do those really good advanced rate contests. So So for that reason, I'm definitely out. I'm probably only going to do like 10 ppms or less. I know you'll probably do a lot more than that, but you're as of now, you're not maxing it, right, Steve?
Yeah, I don't believe I'm going to max. But I mean that could change. But yeah, it's just not a priority for me.
All right. So wow, Burrow fell to 53. King of Kings. We were just talking about this. I'm going to talk about this after we come up. Great grabbing Burrow. Love it. And we'll talk about his move on that after we make our pick, because I'm not going to make the same mistake I did last time, Steve, where I was unprepared. So we're 0-2-2-0. Derrick Henry, James Cook, Nico Collins, JSN. We're at pick 57. Got a couple rookies up top here. I know you like Ted McMillan. We're doing the rookie show. We'll be up by rookies receiver show. We'll be up by tomorrow. And then I knew there were other rookies here, but of course, then you also great coach speak on Kenneth Walker this week. By the way, new OC Clint Kubiak, great coach speak on Kenneth Walker. Of course, we always love good old Monty. You got the two rookies, Hampton and Caleb Johnson, and Ted McMillan. So, we're up in one. Ted McMillan just went. Do you want it? I mean, there's a plethora of running backs, and I like this grouping a lot. So I'm kind of pushing for running back here, unless you really wanted to go.
Could I see receiver real quick?
Yeah, 20 seconds. Devontae, Olave, Judy at the top.
I kind of like Devontae and then hitting running back on the way back.
Okay. Explain why. Just falling value?
I think falling value. I think he's not likely to be on the Jets, which is probably a good thing, because they're going to have Tyrod Taylor or some other stopgap quarterback there. So yeah, I think he's going to go to a place where he can win. And I mean, there's a number of places he could go and be a number one.
Okay. Hopefully one of these, we're up in 5. Hopefully one of these guys come back to us.
And the other thing is, I think you can put James Conner there.
I put James Conner in that mix. So rank these running backs. These are the good exercises that you'll see in the live draft. This is why we do the rookie shows, so you can focus on, okay, this is what Steve thinks about quarterbacks, tight ends, running backs, receivers. But it's good to talk about through a live draft. Hampton just went, like you said, he could go late first round, early second. Caleb Johnson, another rookie that could go, potentially early second. And then you have Kenneth Walker, David Montgomery, James Conner, all, great bets. So we'll see what Ferricci, who's in the draft. He goes Henderson, who's another rookie running back who was, I just think, slightly after that as is Jenkins. So I know you like Henderson as well. He's the more explosive running back.
Yeah, he's the home run hitter of the Ohio State backs.
Yeah. Do you want to rank? Then he went Jaden Reed. So we're up in 2. Do you want to quickly rank Caleb Johnson, Kenneth Walker, David Montgomery?
I'd just put Walker above Caleb Johnson, and then Monty Connor. So Walker's my favorite.
Okay, so if Walker's here, we'll take Walker.
Yeah,
but I mean, Ferricci took Henderson. Oh, sorry. Damn, we lost Walker. Okay, so you want to go Monty?
Go Monty, yeah.
Okay. I just thought we were going to get Walker. I got so excited, and then, anyways, no, I know you like Travion Henderson a lot. I know you also you have a good bit of Hampton and Caleb Johnson on our running back show. I believe you said you wanted to be overweight all those rookies, correct?
I do. It's just, I honestly think Kenneth Walker is one of the better values out there.
Yeah.
You look at what he did last year, multiple injuries. The O-line was incredibly banged up. Obviously, they had issues with the offense coordinator and situation. Like you said, Clint Kubiak comes in. I think they are going to run the ball more. Comes from the San Francisco system. What was with the Saints last year? We look how, obviously Kamara was used. And Walker has the much closer skill set to that than Charbonnet. And again, that skill set is Christian McCaffrey. There's a trend there. I mean, Walker's never been the biggest pass catcher, but he's explosive. He's dynamic.
He was pretty good in the passing of the games he was healthy. Yeah, he was pretty damn good in the passing game. I used to like betting his props.
That just hasn't been his forte throughout his career. But I think Kubiak could unlock that in him.
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay. Before I forget, I want to talk Frank, King of Kings in the 5 spot. Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, Josh Jacobs, Jameson Williams, Joe Burrow at 53, and then Sam Laporta. So let's see. So the Jamar Chase drafter took Josh Allen. The T. Higgins drafter
hasn't taken it.
He didn't take him. So my point is, sometimes you'll see on content like, oh, I'm going to try to push it. I'm going to try to push it. Here's the thing. Like if you're in a room with Steve and I, like I'm not going to try to take a quarterback on stack before their ADP, but I will exactly do what Frank did. Excellent move. Joe Burrow's what, 47 or something like that ADP. So he usually goes end of round 4 and he fell like almost middle of round 5. No, you're not going to let him fall all the way back. And it's not like trying to like snipe somebody. It's just like this guy, this is a quarterback that you have ranked highly. So again, it's someone that has to hit a couple things. Do you have ranked highly that you think the falling value is absolutely worth it? And then, yeah, I mean, if you can still backstack it, great. Like I'm still going to try to actively backstack it. Like I had got Joe Burrow, I think late 5th round one time, and I was able to backstack him with Gesicki. So, if it doesn't work out, like that happened to Steve last year in his 4th place big board, Baker fell, he took him, he wasn't able to get Kate Otten, big deal. He got Baker. So that's the point of saying like, no, you're not like saying, oh, I'm going to take all these unstacked guys. You're saying I'm going to take falling quarterback value. I'll try to stack it. And if I don't, okay, then whatever. But, some of these people try to get too cute and, especially those types of passers like Herbert, like Burrow. I got it with Herbert, the lad drafter in the same draft, like let him fall like over a round. And I was like, I'm not letting Herbert fall over a round. I love Herbert. I can backstack. I took Quentin Johnson. So I know you're definitely in agreement with that whole mindset because you did it in your big board and it worked out very, very, very well for you.
Yeah, no. And stacking has value, but if you miss, you don't cry about, look, some receivers dictate who we try to stack, but sometimes you're taking a quarterback early and you're maybe missing out on, his primary guys or in this case, a guy, his top guys are gone, but the value's there. So you try and backstack it. If he misses on Sovis and Gesicki, so be it. I don't think he's going to be upset if Burrow has another top 5 season.
I mean, speaking of, like, I think Mahomes has stunk as a fantasy quarterback the last 2 seasons. So this isn't one where I'm like, oh my God, I'm so excited. Oh, he just went. But I did because he fell 20. He found 20 picks past ADP. Okay, so we're on the clock. I know you like Burden a lot, so I'm going to cue him up. And I know you like Mbuka too. So
I would take Burden. I think Burden is just a massive ceiling potential. In many ways,
he's our first rookie.
In many ways, he's like a poor man's version of Malik Neighbors. Just didn't really have quarterback play in college to
we were
bolster him
because he's the Missouri receiver, right?
Missouri guy, yeah. And look, I think Malik Neighbors is a better prospect, but Burden was like the top receiver prospect in the country when he was being recruited. Had a good freshman year, a massive sophomore year, 1,400 plus yards. And then this past year, kind of like 800-900 yards, whatever it ended up being. But the Missouri offense just totally went to hell. And, he couldn't do it alone. And like, they just couldn't get the ball out to him with outside of forcing touches because the quarterback play and the offense in general was just not good.
Yeah.
But I think the talent is there. I think the route running is there. I think he can be a dynamic weapon.
Yeah. No, we prepped for the receiver show that we're going to be taping after this show. And I knew you were high on Burden, so I'm glad we were able to get him. I have to say, I don't love this pocket of running backs at all. I like the running backs kind of later, like Scattaboo, Neal, some of the, so I'm not sure how you feel about these running backs. Then you have like this group of Shakir, Cup, Shaheed doesn't like really wow me. I know Matthew Golden you like, but not as much as some of the other rookies, like the ones that just went like what's Burden and Mbuka. So I don't know what you want to do here, but we're on the clock and we won't be up for like another 16 picks. So
yeah, I probably just kind of take the value with Shakir. I think he's very, very steady. I know you don't have the massive.
I mean, I guess it's stacking up Buffalo.
Yeah, and it's again just another big.
It's piece. Just on a touchdown hunting site, he gets like 3 or 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, but so does Zay Flowers, and he went 40 picks earlier.
I know. I think Zay Flowers is a terrible early pick, but I always have thought that. But I mean, he at least has a little more explosiveness to his games where he can pop off for 100 yards. But yeah, I'm not. Shakir would be someone I'd like on a full point PPR a lot more. Just not a huge fan.
There's some of that, but I think he gives you a very solid floor week in, week out. And look, they need to figure something out. And one of those things might just be find a way to get Shakir the ball more.
Okay.
Because he still made some of the best plays and biggest plays. We'll see what they do, but there's just not like a number one receiver that the Bills are going to find in the draft. They're going to go earlier, and in free agency, they're just not there, and they don't have the money to even entertain like your Chris Godwin.
Yeah. So let's talk through. I'm getting nervous about quarterback here because honestly, when you do pass on like the elites, I like hitting like multiple in this, like, as we can see, this like round 7 to round like 12 range. And in this round 7 and 8 went a lot. Now Patrick Mahomes fell. I'm not as high on him. He's been a crappy fancy quarterback, but maybe with these speed guys, once Rice comes back and we saw what Worthy did, like maybe it's better. But yeah, when Mahomes, Baker, Bo Nix in round 7, and then Goff, Caleb, Kyler Murray in round 8. I really think we need to focus on getting at least one, if not two, from like rounds 9 to like 12, because this is a pocket of quarterbacks I like a lot. So I just wanted to talk that through. I didn't mean to cut you off. But in looking at that, so we'll be back up at picks 108 and 112. And again, from a stacking standpoint, and I realized too, by the way, when we talked about Kenneth Walker, it's, we stacked up some Bills. We always say like stack a team, whether it's with the quarterback or without. So we took Shakir and we have James Cook. So that's good. You're stacking a talented offense. So I like that. Yeah. We also talked about with Kenneth Walker, we like the offensive coordinator, obviously. In Kubiak, we got JSN. We talked about Kenneth Walker. That didn't work out. But right now we have 0-3-5-0. I really think we should address like quarterback, running back in this next like turn of picks. We have Henry, James Cook, David Montgomery, Nico Collins, JSN, Devontae Adams, Luther Burden, Shakir. With what we have so far, it's a lot of guys that with stacking partners that are either already gone, would go much later, or we don't know. Like, obviously the rookie Burden, Devontae Adams, that kind of stuff. So, and obviously all the three of these guys, their quarterbacks went. So just in thinking of how we could backstack at 105, we've got Love, Herbert, Drake May, we could wait on that May potentially a little bit, but I mean, and Dak Prescott, these are three that I know CJ Stroud is the stack, and so I'll put it in there. But he's the least impressive to me of these from a fantasy standpoint. Did you want to grab like a Herbert and backstack it, or are you because where's the Lad drafter? They took Lamar, so they let him pass. So I mean, we have two shots at him. That's a consideration. Is there anything else running back wise? I know there's a whole like the rookie running backs that we like in Scadaboo and Neal potentially at one of these two picks. We're on the clock, so I don't think this is not a good window, though I do like Bateman. Anyways, what do you want to do?
I would prioritize Drake May here over Herbert since we don't have Lad.
Okay. Well, we could probably get on the next thing. Is there anything else that you like on the board?
I would take Tyler Warren, but that's about it.
He's gone.
Oh, never mind. He just went. Then yeah, I like May. I think we go May.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm fine with that because I know it's slightly early than his ADP, but this is the Wild West. People are taking him. Yeah. Like I like May with his. We don't have to we could get like a late stack, but like with his rushing upside, we don't have to force anything. So is that kind of why you liked May, the run floor, the rushing floor and that floor ceiling combo? It's kind of like what you're getting with some of these elite quarterbacks, but later because people haven't seen the full upside yet because they had terrible weapons and offensive line. So we'll be back up at 112. Do you want to take a running back here early, I mean, some of these worry me. I don't know what your take is on some of these other guys, but like a Cam Scadaboo.
Yeah. I mean, I still don't mind Dobbins just because I think he's likely back, probably getting competition, but I think he's likely back with the Chargers, given just the full Ravens connection, and he did very well. But so I like Scadaboo also, but I don't mind Dobbins. I think Dobbins, especially falling around essentially, if he gets through these next two picks, he'd fall 12 picks. That's solid.
You and I are so high on. I will just pitch one thing. You and I are so high on Scadaboo, both of us. In our first two drafts, we did not get him. He likely would not come back to him. In our third draft, can we just take Scadaboo? Yes or no?
Let's see what this guy does. Could make our decision for us. Last time you talked about Scadaboo, the guy drafted him.
This is true. This is true. Talk about like going big on ADP 100 and more. Scottaboo, Tyler Warren, some of these rookie running backs. I'm definitely gonna. Please.
Yeah, let's take Scottaboo.
It just feels like the upside's there more,
Yeah.
like the potential upside. And that's what we're doing. We're taking these swings, making maybe some big stands. And if Scottaboo misses, then at least he's, the 10th round pick,
Yeah.
So we started 1-4-5-0. Drake May, Henry, Cook, Montgomery, Scottaboo, Nico, JSN, Devontae Adams, Luther Burden, and Khalil Shakir. I like that start. I mean, of course, we got sniped a couple times. There were some things maybe, wish we would have done different here or there, but overall, I really like that start. Let's see what Ferracci, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right, went BCJ, a chain, Hurts, Devontae Smith, got that stack right there. Trevion Henderson, nice rookie, Jaden Reed, Jacoby Myers, and then he just got Tony Pollard and Jordan Love with Jaden Reed at the turn, and then ETN. And then our guy, Frank King of Kings, started Jefferson, Tyreek, Josh Jacobs, Jameson Williams, got a lot of NFC North guys there. I like that. Joe Burrow, following Joe Burrow, which we talked through. Sam Laporta, another Lions, he had JMO. Yeah. And so, you just like stacking good teams. Tyron Chasey, and then he got Goff, Rashid Shaheed, and Zach Charbonnet. So I really like what he's doing there. Mm-hmm. Let me just check out.
No, that's the thing. Yeah, I mean, he might get the late stack on Burrow, but I love getting Goff with two pass catchers. Absolutely.
So what's your thoughts on Mike Robb? Because I know I was like, so hold on, let me put the draft screen back.
I do agree. I think we've maybe, Stroud was going way too early last year, particularly at this time. Yeah. And I think now we've maybe overcorrected and he's going too late. I mean, look, it's still a good team. I'm going to assume that not all of his receivers get injured and miss at least 4 to over half the year for some guys. And I'm going to assume that all of his offensive line isn't going to get injured. I mean, those could be big assumptions, but it's just not likely. And there is probably a nice coaching upgrade here.
Wait, do we know who is the new OC for the Texans?
I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he's from the McVay tree.
Oh, he is. Okay. That's always a plus. And then who's the new offensive coordinator for the Bucs for Baker? Oh, Nick Caley, Houston Texans. So Nick Caley is from the McVay tree.
Yeah. Okay. The Bucs guy, again, I can't.
I'm pulling it up now. Josh Grizzard.
Yeah.
So what was his background?
I'm trying to remember with all these coordinator changes, but
last year we did a coordinator show, and we'll dive deep probably into the coordinator stuff both before and after the draft. These are key things like rookies, coordinators, coaching changes. Then of course free agency will be soon. We'll talk about that. Like all these things are domino effects or, that we need to talk through. And so, I need to learn these coordinators better, especially on some of these offenses I like. So, all right. So so it's coming around the 10-11 turn.
So what I will say is if Stroud falls, I think it's absolutely a value pick.
And we are at 129, 136. So there wasn't a huge flurry on other, Ferracci went Jordan Love. We took Drake May, Brock Purdy. Tua just went. So we'll be back up. I'm sorry, but okay, here's the problem I have. So talk me through this. We're seeing it play out here. I get the case on Stroud, but you have Justin Herbert who just went. Okay, I was trying to make the case Justin Herbert at 110. I just like better as a fantasy quarterback. We saw him run more a little last year. Yeah. And then I'm sorry, but I still have the same problem with Stroud and Dak sitting there. I understand if both of them come to us, I understand we should take Stroud because, Penix just went. We should take Stroud because we have Nico. But this is the thing that I like Dak Prescott way better.
The thing I'll say about Stroud is I do think.
Oh, thank God they made my decision. Thank you, Comfy. Thank you.
Thank you. No,
you love Dak too. You've always been a Dak truther.
But we do have Stroud's unquestionable number one. And look, there's a chance we have his number two because Luther Burden has been mocked more than a few times to the Texans in drafts. Because he is a, you know, I mentioned like Malik Neighbors, but he's a Stephon Diggs, you know, so
okay.
you know, if Diggs assumingly moves on, Dell not back this year, and
Yeah.
that's again what Mike Rob was saying about Schultz is, look, I mean, it just all went to hell last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
okay, so you were beating the drum for Stroud is like we have his unquestioned number one. Burden could actually go there. We got
or
it.
if we get some other rookie, they're going to take rookies. You know, they're going to need to add for sure.
Yeah.
You know,
No, I get it. It's just that he was so unimpressive last year, but you know, maybe the offensive coordinator, maybe they bulk up, you know, the offensive line, you know, maybe what they do in the draft will, you know, make, and like you said, maybe it's fallen too far, but here's the thing. I think, I'm very glad Comfy took Dak. So it just like somebody took Herbert before us, somebody took Dak and we took Stroud, and okay, it all makes sense. But with that said, like 1 for 1, not even talking about stacks, don't you still like Dak better this year than Stroud?
Sure, but
oh shit, we're back on. Sorry, I'm struggling.
This is a roller coaster.
Okay, okay. Kraft, Ingram,
Can
Kirk.
you scroll down slightly?
Okay, we're 16 seconds. Quentin.
I like likely.
Okay, anything else? 9 seconds.
Kirk would be the other one, but I mean, we need a tight end.
We need a tight end. So okay, so you're fine with likely.
Yeah, I mean.
And we got Henry too. You know, we have a Henry likely. We got James Cook. We got Shakir. We didn't get both Seahawks. So, okay, I like that.
Adding guys on top teams, and even if Andrews is back, I would not be surprised if this is the year that likely at least meets him, if not exceeds him, fantasy points wise. We've just seen, you know, these past 2 years, his entire career, but likely ascend more and more.
So yeah, we just a quick break here. 2, 4, 5, 1. I think that's pretty balanced. You know, obviously starting like a mid to late-ish tight end build, but I like what we got going here with May, Stroud, Henry, James Cook, David Montgomery, Scattaboo, rookie running back we both really like, Nico, JSN, Devontae Adams, Burden, one of Steve's favorite rookie receivers, Shakir, and then likely. I like that start a lot. So back to my original question is, I mean, you don't like Dak better than Stroud? Like 1 for 1 in the 11th round.
1 for 1, but my point is I think it's closer. I think we've gotten too low on Dak, on Stroud, on Trevor Lawrence. I think these guys can all be absolutely better. I mean, Lawrence, again, a team where everything went wrong, I had him in a lot of teams that I advanced because he was giving me 20 points here, 22 points there. He didn't have a lot of like ton of ceiling weeks, but he had a lot.
He was on your big board. He was on your big board.
He had a lot of usable weeks.
Mike Ross has your back here. Steve practically died during the stream last week, and now Meg is putting his feet to the fire on new offensive coordinators. We see who was bullied growing up. Steve, do you want to respond to that?
Yes, it was fun.
Mike, you pretty much like took a peek behind our childhood without even knowing. We did a chat. Brody's been making amazing YouTube thumbnails, and we talked about doing. I talked about doing, of course, because I'm the bossy one. Doing the Friends, like I won't spoil what Andrew and Justin are doing, but it's really good for tomorrow. But I talked about, can we do like a Ross and Monica, you know, brother sister? And I said it fits. You know, Steve's like the nerd, but for sports, not dinosaurs. And I say that in the nicest way possible, with the most loving way possible. And I'm like the controlling, competitive one. Would the Monica Geller comparison check out? It fits exactly. So, Mike Rob, you basically nailed our childhood. Absolutely. Okay, I'm not going to mess up again. We're going to focus. We're coming up in 3 picks. I'm going to focus here. I don't know why I've had such problems focusing today. Okay, round 13, 14. We are at, and for some reason my contacts are driving me crazy too. So I'm playing impaired here. We're 153. Like I cannot see the yellow screen.
153, 160.
I'm struggling today. 153, 160. Okay, we're up in 2. 2, 4, 5, 1. What do you like at the top of the board? Pitts, yeah. Coker, Otten, I know you like. We just took. Well, we have one. Samson, I know you like. Restrepo, we've taken him once or twice, and he's, like you said in the receiver article up on Fanspeak, more of a floor guy. Fryermuth, Ray Davis, Algier, Komet, Jade. So do you want to go with Otten or Samson here?
Yeah,
I kind of lean Go ahead. Sorry, what were you going to say?
I like going Sampson here.
I was hoping you'd say that because there's a lot of other late round tight ends who you pointed out in our pre-show, and there's not as many later rookie. And this is another rookie running back. Check out the rookie running back show. He's a speed guy, kind of like in a chain type, right, Steve?
Yeah, very explosive. Comes from Tennessee system. We saw that with Jalen Wright a year ago. Not only is he basically as explosive as Wright, if not more so, but he is, I think, a more complete back. And so while I don't think he's going to be a Saquon Barkley where he's getting 80% of the work, I think he could very much be like in a Chain Gibbs type of back where he's in a split, but he's the home run hitter and kind of the passing down back. So just a guy who I think is going to be guaranteed a role as a rookie. It could be 40%, it could be 50%, it could be 60%. Not going to be a 80+% guy, but yeah, I think he's likely, no matter where he lands, maybe second round, maybe third round of the NFL draft. But this is the type of guy who could come in and knock out a team starting back. If say Washington takes him, he could go ahead of Brian Robinson.
Yeah.
Same with, no, I don't think they're going to prioritize running back, maybe, but if the Jaguars take him, he could be ahead of ETN and that backfield.
Okay, so we're up in 2. I want to point out Otten has fallen a little, so we could take falling value. We like the Bucks. Or I queued up 2 guys that would be a reach, but they stack. Hunter Henry obviously stacks with Drake May. Geno stacks with JSN. Thoughts or anything else you like at the top of the board, up in 1?
I like Henry.
You want to take Henry? So you take Henry over Otten?
I do, because I think it could be very close, and we have the stack.
Okay, all right. You sure about that? Because I know you. Yeah. I know you like Otten a lot. So, you really feel that Henry is going to be definitely a Patriot.
I do. I would be very surprised if Josh McDaniels comes in and changes that. I think he's adding a tight end, whether it's signing a free agent. Remember, Johnny used to be on the Patriots.
Yeah.
But Henry was the one who beat him out and kind of took the number 1 role. My guess is it's more a mid-round rookie. So yeah.
Okay. And yeah, that was an excellent point pre-show when we were going through the late round tight ends that McDaniels was who Henry had success with early in his Patriots career. So Jonnu's not a free agent though, right? You just mentioned Jonnu. No. Okay. But you're saying
like when Jonnu was with Henry when they had with McDaniels. They went out and signed both the same year, I believe.
All right. Fletch 12. Thank you for joining us in chat. Any Austin Hooper round 12 with your May stacks if you miss Henry? Well, we did get Henry. But if we would have missed, why don't you answer this question?
Yeah, I mean, I think that could be in the possibility. I wouldn't be surprised if, particularly given a pretty deep middle of the tight end draft, the guys we mentioned like Helm and Arroyo and Fannin and guys like that, I wouldn't be surprised if the Patriots use a mid-round pick, a 3rd, 4th rounder.
Isn't Hooper a free agent?
And Hooper might be a free agent. So yeah, I'm not even 100% sure on that. So that's the type of thing where after the draft, when we know what the roster is, after free agent signings, look, if the Patriots re-sign Austin Hooper, then I think it comes back in play.
He must be a free agent. There's the first article pops up is they'd be wise to re-sign him.
Yeah, and they probably could re-sign him and still draft a rookie, because I don't think they're going to spend a lot of draft capital or free agent money for a tight end, but I do think they add to the tight end room. But yeah, Hooper had solid games for him down the stretch.
Always good to see Stephanie in chat. Stephanie Miller. Yes, Hooper's free agent. So yeah, like your point is, wouldn't be surprised if they resign him, but also wouldn't be surprised if they draft someone. But that's why you liked Henry so much, basically. Yeah,
because I think Henry will stay the number 1.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was an excellent point on the whole Josh McDaniels connection. We're still, got to learn these offensive coordinators. I mean, I feel like we're most ahead of the game on rookies because of Steve's experience scouting rookies. I feel like we're most ahead of the game there. I got to learn these free agents. I got to learn these coaching changes and really cram on that these next couple weeks to really, round out my big board. big board exposures. Appreciate. Didn't know how desperate you wanted to get a correlation. In the big boards are certainly not overly desperate, I wouldn't say, especially with Drake May and the running or rushing upside, right, Steve?
Yeah, exactly. A guy like May, you don't need it as much, and look, 20th round pick's 20th round pick, but yeah, I just wouldn't get too desperate. Now, look, free agency. This is part of the thing with the big board. Free agency is going to happen in a couple weeks. If Hooper resigns, then I think it becomes a very viable fallback plan.
Sure.
If you miss out on Henry.
Okay. God, what is wrong with my eyes? 177, 170.
Soviets, but.
Oh, that's yeah. We talked about the backstack. Nice, very, very nice. Like that. Okay, so we're at 177 and 184. So Frank got Soviets after getting a falling. Okay, so we got Gino here. Do you want to get Gino? He fell slightly past ADP. Unless there's any other quarterbacks you see that you like.
No. Gino's the last quarterback we know where he's going to be.
That he absolutely is the last quarterback. We know where he's going to be. Good, excellent point. Do you think with Davante Adams, I'm not suggesting this. Okay, we're going to take Gino, and then I'm going to ask you this question. Gino, welcome to the team. We have him with JSN. Okay, Gino. So, we're up in 5. I do want to stay on this page. So, quick question though. Make it a quick answer because then we need to talk about the who we're getting with this up in 4 or whatever. We have Davante Adams. Do you think he and Rodgers? I think Rodgers still plays. Do you think he and Rodgers purposefully end up together?
I think it's going to be hard to be purpose because only a couple of teams can afford that.
True. Yeah.
Probably have to trade at least for Adams. So I think it's tough. I mean, it's not terrible, but and if it works out, it could happen. But yeah.
Oh, Faraci got Jaden Higgins. We're doing the receiver show next, and I know he got Royals and Higgins, and I know you moved Royals up after a good Senior Bowl. You moved Higgins up. You were very high on Higgins to begin with. Sorry, and that's a bummer. All right, what do you like? I know you like Jack Beck. Hold on, I'm going to have to mute it because I have to cough. Talk about who you like here.
Yeah, no, I think we should go Jack Beck. Betch. I think he's moving up. Tremendous Senior Bowl, tremendous season for TCU. I think he's probably a second rounder, maybe a third rounder. Guy who could play the slot, could play outside. Just really, really strong route runner. He's one of those guys. Anything near him, he's catching it. We saw that in Senior Bowl with the flea flicker play where he out-leaped. I can't remember the cornerback or safety, but I think he's kind of slightly overlooked right now, and I love getting him in these like 16th, 17th round type range.
Let me unmute myself. Thank you for covering for me when I was choking and having a coughing attack. I think Stephanie likes that pick. And by the way, the Super Bowl that I texted you, I was like, I was just bawling at the story. Yeah. I mean, we know his brother passed on New Year's Day, but who's the reporter for Fox? He does like when he does a story, it's like it's waterworks, and it's Aaron Andrews on one side, and who's the guy on the other side? Steve?
Tom Rinaldi.
Oh my God, when Tom Rinaldi does like a piece like that, it's like I need to like run and find the tissue box. And God, just such an emotional, powerful, story about the Beck family. And yeah, Jack Beck got the game-winning touchdown in the Senior Bowl and was the Senior Bowl player of the game, right?
Yeah, player of the game, and he was the wide receiver for his team player of the week as well. So.
Oh wow, yeah.
Really
I know. Yeah, no, I knew you really liked him going in, but then even more so after the Senior Bowl. I know some people would be, why didn't you take Pop Douglas? Again, we're not over forcing it with a especially with a quarterback with the rushing floor. And I knew you liked these. That's why I started to queue him up. And then Faraci was drafting him before I could even get him in there. And then Harold Fannin went, who I knew you really like, but I knew you liked Beck. So, again, I with Steve especially, we're trying to stack, but like, especially on Patriots and a running, quarterback that's got a little rushing to his game. I'm not going to overstack, especially then can lean into some player takes, right?
Well, this points to the uncertainty. Like, look, Demario Douglas, I would draft him on some May teams, but it's not a lock because, yeah, last year he was like their number one receiver, him and Butte, but I absolutely agree, Stephanie, with not getting the 20th round back anymore.
Yeah.
But Pop Douglas and Butte, they were like the top receivers last year. Who knows if like Polk or somebody like that bounces through, but they're probably signing guys. They're probably drafting guys.
Yeah. That's the other reason is, yeah.
Like if they go out, and especially a guy like Douglas, who's very slot limited, a lot of the top guys in free agency are slot guys. Chris Godwin, Keenan Allen, guys like that.
Okay, so let's look at this. So we have 4 picks left. We're up at 201 and 208. Great. And my dog's losing his mind right now. 3, 5, 6, 2. Likely it'll be a 3. So we're done at quarterback, 3, 6, 8, 3. So I want to look running back, receiver, tight end here. Ertz, is there some news that I'm missing?
Yeah, Ertz or Schultz make perfect sense here.
Okay, well, Ertz went, so Schultz, we got the stack.
Yeah, let's go Schultz, get another piece of the stack. And he fell, a bunch of picks. So
yeah, both Ertz and Schultz fell. There's no reasons for that, right? I mean,
not that I saw today. Look, we don't know 100% that Ertz is back in Washington, and Schultz, we're projecting that the new offense coordinator is going to be good for him. Maybe it's not,
right.
But it's absolutely worth taking at 201.
Queued up 2 running backs that I know you like. Again, we are leaning a little more into rookie running backs because, like last year's rookie receivers, that this is a strength of the obviously offensive fantasy weapons. The strength of the class is the running backs. I queued up Giddens. He went. I know you don't mind Harvey. You like him over Woody Marks. Did you want to take him here? We're 2 picks away, or is there anybody else at the top of the board that you see that you like? I mean, again, Butte, I'm not forcing receivers with New England. Like you said, they could easily get replaced. They should get replaced.
Yeah.
So do you want to go and get the last running back here in Harvey?
Yeah, I'm good with that. I think we're strong at both positions, but I find just taking Harvey here and then grabbing a couple receivers at the end.
Yeah, because we gave a lot of early capital. Like we kind of balanced it out running back receiver early, but we had 5 picks in the first 8 or 9 rounds. So, I feel pretty good.
A lot more certainty at receive. I mean, we have certainty in both positions, but our receivers and, the way we draft, because the best way to get points on underdog is, if you're only using 3 receivers every week, if your flex is coming from the running back position, you will get more points.
Yeah.
We're fine if Shakir or Burden want to be in the flex in a given week.
Or a tight end. Both of our finals teams, it was Zach Ertz in the flex, or Zach Ertz in the tight end, and then another tight end in the flex.
But yeah, we're going to build with a strong running back core, good receivers, and I think we can take 2 flyers here. There's a lot of flyers in these last couple rounds, whether it's rookies with having a number of vets already, and many on good teams or certain situations. Devontae Adams is a little up in the air, but pretty certain situations with studs like Collins and JSN just continue to ascend. So I think we can be more risky here.
Yeah, and I like that we're 3, 6, 6, 3. We're done at all the other positions. There's definitely enough receivers here late that we're willing to take late shots on, whether it's rookies or vets. So I like where we're at a lot. Let's see what other guys in the room are doing. Faraci late, we kind of talked about his early half. Late, we talked about how he went back to back the Senior Bowl receivers that it really ascended, and the Jalen Royals, Jaden Higgins, you like that. Elijah Royo, another Senior Bowl guy, and then Marshawn Lloyd. And then our guy Frank, we kind of saw what he was doing earlier. Where did he backstack? I know he got Goff and he got Burrow, and he backstacked him with Asovis, and then he got Donnie Mitchell, Mike Gesicki, another backstack with Burrow. See, you don't have to. And then Savion Williams, who I know you talk a little bit about Savion Williams, because he's someone who, it's very kind of boom bust or whatever. Mm-hmm. So someone you'll take a little of, probably not a lot of, but it's some kind of like a do it all like Debo, right? But not someone you're going to be overweight
Patterson's on. Another one you could point to, guy who might be as good of a running back as he's a receiver. Mm-hmm. He doesn't have Debo's receiver upside, but he's also a little bit more bigger and physical. So he could have red zone usage. He's actually a very good runner. You want to get the ball in this guy's hands. He's, depending on the team, he almost could be a team's number 2 runner, a guy who you kind of pencil in 5 to 7 carries every week. Not so just
early in the draft process, 2 weeks ago, this just started. He was one that you've kind of predicted some raw rookie receivers that you're staying away from. He was one that you thought was a little raw. Are you a little more in on him now?
Well, I also believe he's fallen a couple of rounds. So going 18, 19, 20.
So you'll take shots on him there, basically.
Yeah, because it's all pure upside.
Yeah.
But when I think he was going more like 15, 14, 15. So, there was a while he was going well ahead of Beck.
Right.
Both TCU receivers. And one is a pure route runner who catches everything thrown his way. The other is just way more raw, but just an explosive athlete.
Yes. I'm still learning this, and it helped doing the running back show with you last week, which is why I was pushing for some of the rookie running backs we got. We'll be taping the rookie receiver show. And then King of Kings got LaQuint Allen. Let's talk about our pick, and then you can talk about him, because we are up in 2, looking at receiver only here. Diami Brown, Demarcus Robinson, Nick Whisper-Kakeen, Juju, Jalen Noel's the other. What school? Help me out here.
Iowa State.
Yeah, the Iowa State from the Senior Bowl. Is he the one that is explosive, you said?
Yeah, he's a more explosive slot guy, or like 5'10", 5'11". I like him a fair bit.
It thinned out more than I thought down here.
He did, but I think there are guys. Look, De'Ami Brown might be back with Washington. Demarcus Robinson, look, he's back in the Rams. These are the types of things you're speculating at this point. There are a couple guys later that I looked, but I think we could get them in the coming back. So
what do you want to go Noel here?
Let's go Noel here.
Okay. And was he another receiver that you think is a little boom bust, but he had a strong Senior Bowl, and you're definitely willing to take him in this like 18th, 19th, 20th range, basically?
Yeah, absolutely. At this point, these rookie receivers, get Noel probably a 3rd, 4th round NFL pick. I think he can, in the right landing spot, be an effective kind of a floor play. I have no problem taking a guy like that.
Okay, up in 4, one more receiver to round it out. Who do you like? I just threw in Trey. I know you don't mind Trey Tucker. Do you think Luke McCaffrey could have a better role in year 2?
I think it depends.
They're probably going to bring somebody in. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of similar to the Mario Douglas sort of thing. Obviously, Douglas has done a little bit more, but does Washington bring in a veteran slot? Do they bring back their slots like Zacchaeus and Crowder? If not, then that probably means they're pretty high on Luke McCaffrey.
All right. So if there anybody else that you see, I queued up.
The guy I would absolutely point to is Trey Tucker. I think we've seen, as a rookie, he had a few explosive plays last year, particularly after Devontae went out or got traded. He was solid considering the quarterback play that they had.
Isn't he more of like a PPR guy?
No, he's an explosive guy. He's going to get vertical.
Okay, I don't know why. Okay, so we're up on the clock. You want to go Tucker to round out our 8th receiver?
I do. I think he's probably at worst the number 3 in for the Raiders. And sure, that could be the 4th option behind Bowers. But look, I think especially being an explosive guy, it could just take a 60-yard touchdown to make him fantasy viable in a given week.
Okay. Well, draft is ending. Hold tight. We will go through our 3 teams that were in the draft. Frank, King of Kings, out of the 5th spot. Recap ours again, and Fracci out of the 12th spot. So LaQuint Allen Jr., have you taken any of him who Frank took in the 11th or
I
19th
don't
round?
think I don't think I've taken any of him late, but yeah, he's somebody in the mix for the 19th, 20th round rookie out of Syracuse. Had a good, had a nice little career the last couple of years. I think one of these many rookies, and it looks like Frank took another shot at Ja'Cory Crosby-Merritt, a rookie out of Arizona. And Jordan James is another rookie that we see late here. I mean, these guys, and just to the point, we talked briefly, Woody Marks, this is the area where I'd take him. Earlier, he was going at the same time in Scadaboo.
Yeah.
And Scadaboo moved up a little, but Marks has fallen precipitously, and this is where he should go.
Yeah.
Because he's a much better pass catcher than a running back. If anything, he's probably a satellite back. We'll see where he ends up getting drafted. And this is where I don't mind taking some shots. I've mentioned Taj Brooks before.
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned Jaquin Jackson before. Guys like the Michigan guys, Mullins and Edwards, handful of others. And these are the guys, they're not going to be 100% drafted. If they have a great combine, they're going to go up. If they have, and if they don't have a great combine, maybe they just get a great landing spot. And you're getting a guy like that, super late. Use this 19th, 20th round, these extra rounds to take some upside plays. And
Will Shipley is the one I really like, who just went second to last. I mean, I don't see, if they don't bring back Gainwell, a number 2 on the Eagles, who we saw how explosive he can be in just some garbage time work. Those are excellent points. Check out on the channel, go to the best ball, obviously, category, and we did a quarterback tight end show. We did a running back show. So check that out. And by tomorrow, we'll have the receiver show up. It goes through all his rookie rankings, which are also on fanspeak.com as well. Okay, draft is complete. Let's go refresh and check out the 3 teams here to round it out. Okay, so completed. Yep, that's us. All right, let's take a look first at Frank. So we had King of Kings from the 5th spot. So 2, 7, 8, 3. And you guys, Burrow, Goff, Jacobs, Tyron Tracy, Zach Charbonnet, Rashad White, Blake Corum, and then LaQuint Allen Jr. and Ja'Cory. Thank you. Help me out here. Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, Jamison Williams, Rashid Shaheed, Hollywood Brown, Asovis, on Adiyai Mitchell, Savion Williams, Laporta, Ferguson, and Gesicki. Love his stacks. We talked about how Burrow fell. He took them. Take advantage of that because you can still backstack. He was able to get Asovis and Gesicki, who you love as like a late round tight end, period, let alone being able to backstack it. Love that. And then Goff, he got with JMO and Laporta. I love being able to get your stacks from multiple positions there. So I like that a lot. Overall, I think it's a great team. I like that's kind of anchored by Jacobs and then, Tyrone Tracy a little later. I mean, some of these like Zach Charbonnet, I would probably be a little more interested in some of the rookies later, but I mean, or like a Blake Corum, like I probably like the rookies there, running backs there more, but I mean, it certainly could play out that Charbonnet and Corum are the right picks. That's just like me being obsessed with the rookie running backs. Do you have a stand on that, Steve?
So what I think he did it smartly, anchor back Jacobs, Tracy on the upside. We'll see what they add there. And all these guys like Charbonnet, we saw when Walker's out, Charbonnet's a great handcuff.
Slides right in. Yep.
Same with Rashad White. Great offense. We saw he can have fantasy production a little with Irving and definitely without Irving. Blake Corum, again, great handcuff potential. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's not a 90% Kyren Williams year this year. What do
you mean you wouldn't be surprised? I
don't think Kyren Williams is getting 90% of the time.
Okay, got it. Yeah. And then he took the late swings, like you said. You're getting 19-20 round. There could be lower owned on these rookie running backs where if they get the right spots, so that could be huge.
Yeah, and also he got Corum 10, 11, 12 picks past ADP, so it's like getting value and just going by a committee approach. Jacobs is his only week in, week out guy, maybe Tracy, but the rest of those guys can cobble together.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, I really like his receiver room, love his tight ends, and, obviously love his stacks. Frank's always a sharp drafter. Always good to see you in here. So you like it overall too, right?
I do. I like that. If he'd only taken six backs or didn't have an anchor and was taking all those types of backs, I don't think that's the way you do it. But that's the way to handle kind of a more. It wasn't true zero. It was hero RB.
Right.
But and look, I think that is more the way you do it. So I like. There's nothing wrong with any system. It's just as long as you do it right.
You do it right. And he did it right. Like you said, gain the quantity with 7. So love it, Frank. And thank you so much for joining us in draft, in chat. We appreciate you. Thank you to Farachi too for joining us in draft in the chat at the 12 spot, 2693. So Hurts, Jordan Love, I believe got right around value or a little slightly falling value. A chain, Trevion Henderson, who we talked about in the draft, Pollard, ETN, Marshawn Lloyd, Antonio Gibson, BTJ, Devonta Smith, obviously stacked with Hurts, Jaden Reed stacked with Love, Jacoby Myers stacked with Love, rookie Restrepo, and then you got a triple stack with Love. We got Wicks too, so like that because one or two of those guys, if Love is having a good season, is going to definitely hit for you. And then the rookie receivers that we talked about, how he got the turn there, Jalen Royals, Jaden Higgins, 2 great rookies that had a really great Senior Bowl week. And then Dalton Kincaid, Elijah Arroyo, who had another great Senior Bowl week, and Theo Johnson. Yeah, I really like this a lot, what he did here. Like he hit another anchor RB, took some, a rookie shot there with Trevion Henderson. So I like that. And then obviously a very strong receiver room, really stacked up Love, got Devonta Smith with Hurts. And I know you got some rookies that you really like. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. So the first thing I want to say is I love I think he executed perfectly the approach to overstack a quarterback because, like you said, Jordan Love is the type of guy who could be a different receiver every week, especially without Christian Watson. Could just be these 3 guys. Maybe they add somebody. We'll see. But if you're only taking 7 receivers, even 8 receivers, maybe that's a little scary, but he got guys at the top, Ryan Thomas, Devonta Smith, who also stacks, a floor guy in Jacoby Myers, and then he has depth with those rookies, Restrepo and the other
Royals and Higgins.
So I think it's the perfect way to handle that.
Mm-hmm.
To make sure you don't feel like you're overexposed to the Packers. But at the same time, really love the stacking of both Hurts and Love. And then the running backs, I'm very impressed with the anchor of a chain, but both Henderson and Pollard should be starters.
Yeah.
And then you're taking shots like, hey, could ETN be the starter over Bigsby or a rookie? Marshawn Lloyd, maybe he is now Jacobs' number 2 back above Wilson. And then finally, Antonio Gibson, I mean, he got him in the 20th round. I don't understand that at all. He's under contract. At the end of the year, he was playing almost even of Stevenson. We'll see what Josh McDaniels thinks, but, historically, McDaniels and the Patriots, in kind of that era, had a clear passing game running back. That could be Gibson. So Gibson could even have a more clearly defined role. I'm a big fan of Gibson late. And then these tight ends, still hoping on Kincaid, but top offense. And then 2 upside plays in Arroyo and Theo Johnson, who was looking good until he got injured late in the year.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I like that. And I know he got a lot of rookies that you like, especially late, like again, the double tapping those Senior Bowl receivers. Okay. Again, thank you so much for joining us in the draft. Join us in chat. We'll go through our team really quick. We were from the 9th spot, 3683. Pretty typical for Steve and I when we draft together. Started with Drake May, kind of wanted to get like a solid, with high upside quarterback. We knew we could backstack if we wanted. And so Drake May, CJ Stroud stacked with Nico Collins, and then we got Schultz later, and then Geno Smith stacked with JSN. So like our quarterback stacks a lot, then anchored by Henry and James Cook, David Montgomery, Cam Scatterboot, Dylan Sampson, and RJ Harvey. So last 3 running backs were rookies, but 3 rookies that both you and I like. I know Steve really likes. And then receivers, Nico Collins, JSN, Devontae Adams, Luther Burden. Again, Steve really likes Shakir, Jack Beck, Jalen Noel, 2 rookie receivers, and then Trey Tucker, and then likely Hunter Henry, Dalton Schultz. We talked at the start of the show. We kind of like the later tight end bills. These were 3 guys, 3 of the many guys you cited that you'd be interested in. Obviously, 2 of these are stacks, with our quarterbacks. So I really like what we did here. It was a lot of things that we talked about, from rookie running backs or rookies that you can get, later that could potentially, really find a role, especially late in the season. Obviously I like our stacks and then, some of that whole late round tight end build. So I really like how this team shaped up. There were parts of the draft I got a little nervous or a couple of times we got sniped, but overall I really like this. What are your thoughts, Steve?
Yeah. And, like some people may say, oh, we reached for May or we reached for this player here or there. But at the end of the day is we wanted to get certain types of guys, certain upside plays. And, we saw quarterback going kind of fast. And May, you and I have talked about it. Like, look, Jaden Daniels coming off an amazing year. Bo Nix had a great year. Drake May, per his actual starts, was very good. And that was with no weapons, no offensive line, questionable offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Those types of things are likely to change. Let's not forget that the Patriots have the most money to spend in free agency as of right now. Obviously, some teams will cut and whatever, but they're going to add weapons. They're going to add O-line, both in free agency and the draft. And his outlook could be far better going forward. And, in terms of a sophomore bump, he could be the guy. Daniels and our Knicks could be being drafted where they're at value, but May is, quarterback 14, 15, whatever it is. He might be a top 10 quarterback, especially with that rushing upside.
Oh, I'm dying. I'm coughing. Oh, and of course I didn't have a water going into the show. So thank you for covering for that. All right, we're going to have to wrap this up because I cannot get my voice back. But any other thoughts? No, I couldn't agree with you more on May. And now I'm crying because I was coughing so bad. Woo.
That's how much he loves May.
That's how much I love May at this pick. Frank, thank you so much for joining us. We always appreciate you joining us in draft and in chat. No, I definitely think, listen, yeah, of course we like those other rookie quarterbacks too, or second year quarterbacks too. But to Steve's point, the discount you're getting on May, because we haven't seen it, and we always see every year, Washington was one of the teams this year. But when you are able to find those, Houston was 2 years ago, Packers were 2 years ago. Like when you find those teams that you can stack or get the main pieces of later, that can be huge. So I really want a lot of exposure to May. I think he could be one of the quarterbacks going this range that could absolutely massively outperform, like you said. Any final thoughts, Steve, and then we'll get out of here? No,
it was a fun draft, and appreciate everyone joining us. And yeah, I'm looking forward to many, many more.
Yeah, absolutely. Said perfectly. Yeah, we appreciate everybody in chat. Frank and Farachi, thank you so much for joining us in the draft. Thank you all to join us in chat. Again, we'll be doing multiple live drafts every week. Steve and I, Andrew and Justin are on tomorrow. Spread and Tyler will be starting soon. I'm sure we'll be doing more, mixing in other guests from other channels, which is always fun, cross-streaming. Steve and I do a strategy show every week. This week, it will be the rookie receivers, which I've mentioned multiple times. We'll be up by tomorrow. And then, the content will keep coming, strategy shows, live drafts, all sorts of other fun stuff. We did some fun stuff last year, like Best Ball Jeopardy and all sorts of stuff. We're going to find creative things to do. So look for a lot more stuff on Fanspeak, a lot more stuff here on Fanspeak Network. We appreciate you joining us. For Steve, I'm Meg, and we will see you next time.